Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Aussie heavyweight Demsey McKean. Been a while since we've had you on the channel, Dempsey. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. It's just out of your training, grinding away, and hopefully trying to get a fight date locked in sometime soon. So, but not much has changed. Still in the gym, still training hard, and yeah.
And away from boxing, some big news for yourself. I hear you're a new dad now. Been a few weeks. How's everything going? And is the child safe and sort of healthy?
Yes, everyone's good. The mother's good. My son Mason Roy, he's really well as well, healthy, big boy as well. 3 weeks old today. Yes, I've been welcomed into fatherhood, and it's a great feeling. Like everyone says, until you experience it yourself, then you actually understand. But it's been great, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future.
It's been a year or so now since you've been in the ring in a professional capacity. Just talk me through what the last year's been like in a boxing sense.
Yeah, definitely. Last fight was back in August against Herkovic for a final eliminator for the IBF. Yeah, it's gone on 12 months now, 13 months almost since my last fight. You know, I had a bit of a hand injury after that fight at the start of the year that put me out for a few months. And then obviously I've just had the birth of my first child a few weeks ago. So I've been pretty busy with that. But, you know, I've been in the gym every day. I've been training, I've been sparring, you know, I've been staying active. So when I do make my comeback, it's not going to be off the couch. You know, I've still been in the gym, leveling up and based predominantly back here in Australia now as well, and getting some really good work in with my coach Fidel. And yeah, we're hoping we'll honing in on a date end of October, but it seems like that might have fallen through at the moment. So we're just going to check out some other avenues and see what else we can get. But there's some possibilities for another fight here in Australia also.
I was going to say, during that time you've sort of been away, was there any points where there were any fight dates on the table that maybe didn't materialize?
Yeah, there's been plenty, mate. That's why I said I've been in the gym. I've been in and out of fight camps on and off, and you know, which is still good. I'm still leveling up. I'm still, you know, getting better each time, each week as the week passes on. There has been a few fights. We've kind of been led along a little bit, I guess you could say. Been promised a couple of fights, and a couple have fallen through. Another one kind of fell through yesterday. We didn't really hear back from one. But, you know, my manager and promoter, Angelo DiCarlo, is working tirelessly around the clock to try and get us a fight lined up. So worst case scenario, we can just get a stay busy fight here in Australia and look at some promotions here also.
Good stuff. I saw a couple of months ago now, we were sparring Alex Pereira. Really interesting stuff that. What were you able to learn from that, first of all?
Yeah, he's good. You know, he's got the heaviest recorded punch in the world, I think. And he's not even really a true heavyweight either, is he? So I think he put Francis Ngannou's power to shame on the punch test machine. But he's good. His pressure's good. He's deceivingly good. You know, I think it's just his constant pressure is in your face. He's willing to wear a couple to kind of land that big shot back also. But yeah, it was a really good experience. So quite happy with the sparring as well. And his coach Cruz, invited me back to one of his training camps in New York in the future as well. And, you know, said I was part of the team, and they're pretty ecstatic with the sparring. But yeah, hopefully we can get some more rounds in the future sometime soon. But yeah, he's a nice guy, nice team, and yeah, he's quite good. Definitely, he's got that power. You know, I didn't really want to try to smother his left hook as much as possible. I wasn't going to test my chin out too much on that left hook of his. So.
Yeah, we know he's got power, but he's not as big as yourself. He's not sort of a fully fledged heavyweight. Were there any sort of surprises by the levels that he showed?
Not really. You know, it was mostly tech rounds as well. Like they literally just took that fight on UFC 303, I think it was the day prior. So they'd done a training session with him beforehand, the day before, and I was talking to his coach. He said, "Look, if you guys need a bit of sparring or moving around while you guys are here, let me know." And they said, "We literally just, yeah, definitely." So there's not really too much that really did kind of shock me too much. You know, he's got that power. He's quite good. Deceivingly, it's mostly tech rounds. You know, so but it was good sharp rounds. You know, it was good working rounds. That was about it.
He's been linked with a fight with Jake Paul down the line. If that fight was to happen, how would you see a fight between those two going?
Geez, I think that would only end in one way, and I think that's Jake Paul on the canvas as well. You know, but never say never. You know, that's a money. Unfortunately, that's a big fight that would generate a lot of money, and when there's a lot of money that can be generated, that's a fight that can possibly happen. So I definitely wouldn't rule that out in the future. Just depends on Dana White. If he was to release him for a fight, I know he hates Jake Paul. Maybe he would want to release him for a fight just to see him pretty much knocked out cold. But yeah, I think if that fight does happen, it's going to be bad news for Jake Paul.
Back to yourself. I mean, what sort of level are you looking to have that comeback fight in? We know you were sort of on those fringe world levels when you were fighting the likes of Hrgovic. You were sort of nearing closer to that world title. Where do you want to come back in at, and where do you see yourself in maybe 6 to 12 months' time down the line?
Yeah, obviously we kind of got to build up a little bit. I'm coming off the back of a loss, but it was a final eliminator. Kind of did go the 12 rounds with Hrgovic, the world number one at the time. The fights that we've been talked about coming back have been big fights. I'd like to get straight back into a big fight as well, get back in the mix. Another good win against a top contender is going to put me in the mix straight away. But, if I don't want to be sitting out for too long. So that's why we've got to reevaluate as a team. If we can't get another big fight lined up soon, then we're going to have to just take a stay busy fight, put a win back into us, just stay active, really. I'm kind of in the prime of my career at the moment. I don't want to be sitting on the bench for too long. It's going on 13 months now. And by the time I get my next fight, it's probably going to be about 14 months, So any fight at the moment, but preferably it'd like to be a big fight back into it, top 15 ranked opponent would be nice. But at the moment, we're just happy to get anything.
There was a young fighter over here by the name of Moses Itauma that mentioned your name in his post-fight interview after beating Marius Vac last time out. I'm sure you've kept a keen eye on Itauma's career so far, just 19 years of age and knocking everyone out seemingly. Would that be a fight you'd be interested in?
Funny you say that. It was when I was talking about some of the fights that have fizzled out. The one yesterday, that's the one that kind of fizzled out as well. So they come hit us with an offer. I think it was about 3-4 days ago. They hit us with an offer. We hit them with a counter offer, and then they kind of replied back saying Moses is going to be having. It was a complete 180. As Moses is going to be having 2 fights in 1 month, and yours being a harder fight. We want to fight you last. But if you don't hear back from us on Wednesday night, respectfully move on. So it was a complete 180 from the offer they gave us. They didn't even hit us with a counter offer either. So it's just weird that one kind of fizzled out so quickly and how it done. I don't know if they thought it was a bit more of a riskier fight for what they want to kind of build him up, or I'm not too sure what's going on there, or I'm not too sure, but that one kind of seemed to fizzle out. So we definitely didn't rule that out. He's top 10. He's only had the 10 fights. He's a good prospect, and he's a good prospect, probably the best prospect around at the moment, I'd say, for the younger generation. So, see what happens. I'm not too sure if they're going to get back to us or what, but that might be later on down the line or in the future sometime.
Have you sparred him at all? Because I know he's been in some of the Fury camps. I don't know if you've been in the same camps as him, or?
No, I've never sparred him. I was at the gym when he sparred Jordan Thompson at the Matchroom gym when I was over there training. So I think he was in there, sparred Jordan once or maybe twice, I think it was. So I did meet him briefly then.
We've got a big fight on the horizon over here in the UK between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, September the 21st at Wembley. It's a massive fight for the heavyweight division and for both of those fighters. Who do you favour going into that fight?
Yeah, look, Dubois has kind of resurged his career a little bit there as well, hasn't he? Come off the back of a couple stoppage losses as well, and people kind of ruled him out a little bit, and people starting to question his heart a bit. But he's had a couple of good wins and had a good win over Hrgovic also. But I think AJ's the same. He's vitalised his career also. He's probably looking better than Dubois at the moment, I think, and I definitely have to lean in AJ's favour. I think Hrgovic was starting to pin Dubois a lot with the right hand in their fight for as long as it lasted, and I think that was AJ land that right hand. I don't know if he's going to be able to take as many. So I'll probably lean towards AJ and probably mid-round stoppage, I reckon, probably 6 or 7 rounds, I think. That's my verdict.
What changes have you seen from Anthony Joshua since he's been under Ben Davison, just watching on the performances that he's had since he's been with Ben?
I think it's just going back to his old ways and just having a bit more mongrel about you, isn't it? So it's like I think he tried to change his style for a long time and tried to box and move and be this picture perfect fighter where he's a bit more of a wrecking ball. He's a big guy, he's huge, 6'6", and quite built, and he's got the power. So why stray away from something if it's been working in your favour for so long? So I think if they're just kind of working on the fundamentals of what he's good at and land those big power shots, then it's best to stick to it. And that's exactly what he's back doing now, and it seems to be working for him better than ever.
Another fight on the horizon is the rematch between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk.
If I was to pick a winner in that one, I'd probably have to lean in Usyk's favour again. I think he got the job done. It was a great fight that he fought last time as well. Tyson Fury had his moments, but I think obviously he's going to have the confidence this time around, already beating Fury. But I think it's going to be a great fight. The first fight was unreal. It was a really good fight, and it's what you'd expect the undisputed heavyweight title to be. So
I think a lot of people leading up to that first fight were expecting it to be. I heard the word boring thrown around quite a lot. It was far from that. It has to be said, an all-action fight. What do you think Fury would need to do to sort of reverse the favors in the second fight?
yeah, well, when you were saying it was going to be a boring fight, I was one of those people that said it was going to be a boring fight as well. That was my prediction early on. I thought it was going to be a jab off and kind of hit a patter and kind of just picking their shots a little bit more. But yeah, it was complete opposite. But I think for Fury to win, I think he's just got to establish his range a bit more, and I think he needs to. It's a hard one because Usyk keeps such a high pace as well, and for a bigger guy like Fury to kind of keep that pace and for the whole 12 rounds is going to drain and sap him a lot quicker. But I think if he can kind of he's just got to stay a little bit more active, just to kind of keep him at bay. But when you're 6'8", 6'9", and 120 plus kilos, it's a lot harder. But I think that's going to be the aim of the game, is to hold your range a little bit more, and to do that you have to stay active, so you have to throw a lot more punches.
We're coming to a stage in the heavyweight division where those top names we mentioned, the likes of Usyk, AJ, Tyson Fury, they've only got maybe 2, 3, 4 max fights left. They're both in their mid to late 30s. How do you see the health of the heavyweight division when they move on?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, they're probably the bigger names there at the moment. They have a good following. There is some good fighters on the way up, but yeah, it will be interesting because I don't think there's too many other big name fighters around apart from the 3, 4 top guys. Even Deontay Wilder's on the decline. He's probably only got a couple more fights left in him also. So, but there is a good wave of young up and coming heavyweights ready to kind of take the division on. But I think I don't think it will be as big as it is now. That's for sure. But if they can kind of build these fighters up a little bit more and give them the platform, and if that Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to continue on making these bigger fights, there's probably going to be some superstars in the making for sure.
You talked about your return being back in Australia, but those Saudi cards are proving to be huge hits, not just over in Saudi, but over in LA. We have got one over in Wembley. Look, a Saudi card over in Australia, is that something that you think is possible?
Well, I think they're in talks about holding one here later on in the year. I think it was maybe even end of October or December. That could be a possibility. So definitely wouldn't rule that out. So that's obviously something we'll be looking at. We're in talks about fighting over in Saudi, but it's just so hard to get on at the moment, especially with all the promoters involved these days as well. And they're all trying to get their fighters on, and the cards kind of fill up quite quickly, So which I don't blame them either, but it is quite hard to get on those cards unless you're in that small group of the top heavyweights and the top fighters. It is quite hard to get on. So, but at the moment, just got to stay ready and wait for that call up.
Dempsey, I know you're approaching your evening session over in Australia, so thank you very much for your time this morning over here in the UK. And yeah, hope we get that fight news soon, and we'll catch up when you do.
Definitely. Awesome, mate. Thank you very much.